Mama, what do you do after you lose your cool? When the meltdown ends and the guilt hits, that heavy sinking feeling that says, I did it again? Here's the truth. Every parent, no matter how anchored or emotionally aware, still has messy moments. The difference isn't never losing your calm, it's about what you do after. Today we're talking about one of the most healing, hope-filled parts of parenting, repair. Because it's not the rupture that defines your relationship with your child, it's how you reconnect. Mama, are you tired of meltdowns stealing the peace in your home? Welcome to Parenting Beyond Meltdowns. I'm Amanda, a Christian life coach and a mom of a strong-willed neurospicy teen. If you've tried everything from consequences, parenting books, crying out to the Father, and still feel like you're failing, you're not alone. Inside this podcast, we'll explore how faith, emotional regulation, and connection work together so that you can parent from a place of peace, even in the hardest moments. You don't have to hold it all together here. This is a safe space to lay it all down. Welcome. Let's hear from a mama just like you. Vanna says, your podcast always hits right. It speaks to my darkest moments and gives me hope in the most difficult times. Listening to you helps alleviate some of the mom guilt and shows me that I am not alone, that there is hope in my situation, and to always lean towards our Father. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your heart with us, Vanna. When you leave a review on the podcast, it blesses other mamas just like you to know that they are not alone. To leave a review, head over to Apple Podcasts and scroll all the way down below the episodes where you'll see the words rating and reviews. You should see several reviews there already, and you can just click 5 stars and then leave a written review. When you leave a review, it helps mamas just like you find the podcast. Let's be real. No matter how much we work on emotional regulation or renewing our minds, we all have moments when the old patterns come back. I can remember one day so clearly. My child was melting down, and I was holding it all together until I wasn't. I snapped. I said something I regretted the second it left my mouth. And right after, the wave of guilt that hit, you teach this stuff, Amanda. You should know better. But here's what the Holy Spirit reminded me. I'm human. I'm going to mess up because I'm not perfect as much as I want to be and try to be. And here's the deal. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. This is a thought that I practice regularly. The goal is not perfection, it's connection. What matters most is what I do after the rupture, how I come back, how I repair, how I restore emotional safety. That matters just as much as how I showed up in the original moment. I want you to hold on to this nugget in your heart, whether this is the first time hearing it or a reminder. It's the repair that matters the most. We've spent the last several episodes talking about the creation cycle, how your thoughts create feelings, your feelings drive actions, and how your actions create results. So what happens when your action isn't the one that you wanted to take? When you yelled, withdrew, or said something you wish you hadn't? That's where repair comes in. So what is repair? Repair is the moment you return to your child, to yourself, and to the Father after disconnection. It's the bridge that restores emotional safety and models humility and love. And here's the beautiful part. Repair isn't about fixing the moment. It's about reconnecting through truth and grace. When you repair, you're saying, our relationship matters more than this moment. That's powerful modeling for your child, especially your strong-willed and neurodivergent kiddos who may already be carrying so much more emotional intensity and fear of rejection. So why does repair matter? For our kids, emotional safety and trust are everything. They often feel misunderstood, and when things get heated, they may interpret your reaction as rejection, even if that's not what you meant. When you come back with repair, you're showing them that even when things get hard, I won't withdraw my love. That message changes everything. The 3 R's of repair are regulate, reconnect, and reflect. So let's talk about regulating ourselves. Before you rush to fix it, take time to breathe, to pray, to step away for the moment if you need to. You cannot repair from dysregulation. You can only do it from peace. This might look like going and splashing water on your face, cold water that is, or sticking your hands in ice cold water. A therapist friend once told me that you can even take cutie oranges and stick them in the freezer, and then you can go pull them out and hold them, one in each hand, and hold them until they start to warm up. Adults and kids can do that. Sometimes I personally like to take Sometimes I like to take a drop of one of my favorite grounding essential oil blends from Young Living in my hands and then cup it in over my nose and my mouth and inhale deeply. Even a 30-second pause to breathe deeply and ask the Father to help me respond from love is enough to shift your nervous system back towards calm. 2, reconnect with empathy. When you return to your child, start from the heart, not correction. Say something like this: I know that was really hard on both of us. I'm sorry I yelled. That wasn't okay. I love you and I'm here for you. You're not excusing the behavior, you're rebuilding safety. Your child learns that love doesn't disappear when things get hard. Reflecting and restoring together, that's the most important part. Once the emotion has passed and you've both calmed down and you can gently revisit what happened, ask questions like, what did that feel like for you? What do you think we both could try next time? This involves connection and problem solving instead of punishment or shame. Collaboration can be key. It allows your child to feel like they have autonomy in the situation. So what if your child doesn't respond? Sometimes even when you show up calmly and compassionately, your child might still shut down or reject your repair. And that's okay. Your responsibility is your part. You're planting the seeds of emotional safety. Their nervous system might need more time, and that's not a failure. It's just part of the process. You can say something like, that's okay, I'm still here when you're ready. The goal isn't a perfect ending. It's showing your child that you are a safe space to return to. Sometimes we both need a little bit of space to come back around. Let's bring this back to what we've been learning. If we were to apply the creation cycle to this, maybe your uncaptured thought after a hard moment is, I ruined it. And that thought creates guilt and shame, which then leads to withdrawal and might result in disconnection. But when you take that thought captive and renew it, it might sound like this is an opportunity to model grace. That creates peace and courage, which leads you to move towards your child, and the result is reconnection. That's the creation cycle in action, not perfection, but partnership with the Holy Spirit. Our faith anchor today is from Lamentations 3:22 and 23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Just like the Father meets you with new mercies every morning, you get to mirror that mercy for your child. Repair is the gospel lived out in real time. Grace after rupture, connection after chaos, love after fear or rejection. Your challenge this week is when moments get hard, because they will, to practice repair. First, take a pause and regulate yourself. 2, return to your child and name what happened gently. 3, remind them of your love and safety even if they're not ready to receive it. And then write down what you noticed. Not what went wrong, but what shifted for you. And what you noticed shifted possibly in your child when you chose repair instead of shame. I want to remind you that you're not called to perfect parenting. You're called to faithful connection. Every time you repair, you're showing your child what the Father's love looks like: unconditional, steady, and always ready to restore. You are doing holy, sacred work. Keep going. Before we wrap up today, I want to let you know what's happening next. Next week, we'll be talking about preparing your heart and your home for the holidays, especially when family gatherings can bring a mix of excitement and anxiety. We'll walk through how to protect your peace, honor your child's needs, and give yourself permission to do what's best for you and your family, even when others don't understand. And then on Thanksgiving morning, I'll be releasing a short faith-filled encouragement to remind you of who you are in Messiah so that you can walk into that day anchored, calm, and confident in the Father's peace. If you want to dive a little deeper into encouragement like this, then join my Insiders list. It's where I share faith-filled reminders, emotional regulation tips, and real-life tools to help you stay anchored in who God says you are. The link is in today's show notes. Hey, sweet mama, I hope you loved today's episode. Can you do me a favor? If this episode spoke to your heart, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a mama in your life who needs to know they are not alone? Also, would you leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts for me? It blesses my heart to know that this show is giving you hope in hard moments. All right, I'm off to grab some protein because love and grace flows easier when you're not just running on fumes and coffee. I'll meet you back here next week for another honest and hope-filled conversation. In the meantime, mama, stay rooted in faith and anchored in love.